Hello, mate. We are back with another one. How you feeling?
We are, yes. Good mate. Yeah, good. Just got back, got caught in the fucking traffic. So
Stressed out. Where you
where I
been?
put my laptop, trying to find where to put my laptop so the light's a little bit better.
Yeah. So I'm,
But
I'm
yeah,
in a
no,
change. I'm in a change of scenery. You didn't even realize, but yeah, I changed of scenery. But I had to put my trousers up. The fucking curtains on work, and there was like so much sun in my face. I just had to. My trousers are literally hanging up there, proper scabby. It was horrible. Yeah, mate. Where have you been?
huh?
Where have you been?
Just went to the shops.
Boring shit, mate.
I like to do, I don't know about you, but like, when people do like a weekly shop,
Hmm.
do you do that? Or are you one of the people that does like daily shop?
I'm in between, mate. Right. So because I don't want to say for you, but I eat so fucking much, so I have to get. It's hard for me to get it all in one. Like my freezer's full of food, my fridge is full of food, and I go through like steak a day, a pack of chicken a day, a half pack of mince a day, a salmon pack a day. Like
Oh, it's not even that, but do you not find not just the freshness of it, but like I just enjoy going to the shop because like as bodybuilders, like we don't do a lot. Like when people are like people do like fun shit. And to me, that's fun. To me, that like the one of the fun parts of like my day is actually going to the shop.
I actually agree. So like when I'm on prep, I almost map out my day based on things like that.
Yeah.
Right, so I'll go to the shop, and when I get back, I'll have a bath. I don't even like baths, but when I'm on prep, I have a bath.
Yeah.
And I know that it will take up like half hour to an hour, and I'm doing
Yes.
that like yeah.
That was literally it because you said because I had my meal and you were like half six, and it got to six, and I was like, am I gonna have a half like am I gonna make it back in time? But I'm like, fuck it, it'll be all right. And then in that time it kills like half hour. Otherwise I'm gonna be sat there fucking
Do you know the other thing I like doing as well? Is I like if I know, like for example, let's say I woke up at like 5, and then meal one goes in, I try and save that till maybe like 10. If I can like hold off just a couple of coffees, and then I think if I go for a food shop
what
at
do you do?
11,
So let's say you wake up at 5. What do you do in that time? Because for me, right, I train.
ah shit, okay. So I typically go on my laptop and start replying to people. So a lot of my work will get done like really, really early.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, so I get most of that done. I typically don't do as much work.
So are you getting your clients to check in the night before?
Uh,
Or like how do you do it? Because like
yeah.
obviously people don't wake up at 5 to check in.
So I try and get people to do early check-ins, but they don't always do that. So I
Yeah.
just sort of reply as and when. I mean, it's not even just check-ins; it's like updates and things like that, and even stuff for like a website or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always think to myself like if I can hold off eating now and then go to the shop, and then do my around the shop, and then by the time I get home and cook it, so I can have it 2 hours.
Yeah.
So you can like prolong food, and I think that's like quite a good method to do. You know what I mean?
What I've been doing is I'm up at 4. So then I'll get up, I'll have my coffee, like all my tablets and that. By about 5, like I'll go out and do steps, and my gym opens at half 6. So by half 6, I'm outside the gym. I actually joined the new gym for the purely for the fact that I don't know anyone in that gym. It's like a kids gym basically. It's like a university gym. I
Yeah.
don't know anyone in there. So as a result, no one talks to me because no one knows me, right? So I like that now. Because like even in like in your gym, people know you and they come up to you, and it's like I just can't be asked for that. So I don't want to speak to anyone.
That being said, though, but now in the new gym, so imagine you're like this youngster and you walk in. I don't know about you, but if I was like a guy aspiring to be a bodybuilder and then some big dude walks in, I don't know, I'm probably going to make a beeline towards him.
At half 6, though, there's like 2 people in there.
Fair enough. Yeah, I know. Do you know what, man? And that's the thing of prep I really don't like. It gets harder and harder to want to be sociable. So I start going to other gyms just purely so I don't have to talk.
So I don't have to talk to people. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and
That's,
even people like in your gym, within your gym, and it's like they try and be nice and like house prep, and you're like, mate, what do you mean how the fuck is prep? Just like, and most of these people like in bodybuilding gyms, they've competed, they know what it's like. They're like, house prep, how you feeling? What the fuck do you think I feel? I feel fucking shit. Fuck off. You know what I mean? It's
Craig
like
said this the other day. Yeah, the same thing triggers him. Like, how's prep? That's all right. I mean, what do you expect? Like, I'm fucking dieting. I'm getting leaner. Like, what? What's
yeah,
happening here?
yeah. It's like what you know. Ah, and I can sort of, when sometimes when people like normal people that don't sort of get in, they're like, "Oh, you hungry?" And you're like, "Yeah, but it's part
Yeah,
of it." It's kind of
yeah.
like, it's like, oh, just, I'd rather like you just sit there in silence and not speak to me than ask me shit like that, because it kind of,
Sometimes you don't need to like break silence with
yes,
random questions. Don't worry about it. Just it's okay. Like, we can
yeah,
just sit here. We don't need to talk. We don't have to do that.
yeah, that's right,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Which is why I quite like it that I've got a couple of friends that are like that. So like Josh, for example, when he diets, when he is dieting, I know exactly how he feels. So like me and him can drive down to a gym for an hour and a half and barely speak. And that's fine because we know that. Last time we drove to Graftism, I literally like I was just in the car and I was just like fucked. And he didn't even say a word the entire because he knows
Got
what
it.
it's like.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. You got it. On that note, you just triggered something in my head. Do you know what? It's my favorite fucking word. I would say it. Triggered. What fucking triggers me is people since my show. They like my posts. They've seen that I didn't do as well as I wanted to,
Yeah,
and they'll go, "Hey, bro, how was the show?" Like they'll inbox me. "Hey, bro, how was the show?"
yeah.
Look, maybe I'm being sensitive, or maybe I'm being an asshole. But like,
The amount of people that I had ask me, how did Ryan do at the show? I'm like,
you
do
saw,
you follow? I'm like, huh?
yeah, it's like you saw, right?
I'm like, do you follow Ryan? Yeah. Well, then why the fuck you ask me? And you fucking seen it. It's
Yeah, yeah.
like he's got a YouTube video about it. He made an Instagram post about it. He made stories about it. We made a podcast about it. What more do you fucking need?
When you put it like that, fucking hell, there's been so much about it.
But
And
no, but with reason, right? Because you kind of want to document the entire journey. So as a result, good or bad, you document it at the end.
and do you know what? And ultimately, I put myself out there, so I guess I can't moan when people ask me stuff.
Of
Fair enough.
course, of
But
course.
but I will say this, but also understand I'm a person, right? If I knew a person had just not got what they wanted, I'd probably be a bit more sensitive. I'd probably be a bit like, I don't know, either leave them to it or just like, hope you're doing all right, mate. Just
I
I don't
don't
know.
think people mean any harm in that.
No,
They're
they definitely
almost
don't.
like either they're just trying to again, they're trying to make conversation, or they're trying to make it like they care. They don't care,
They don't
but
care.
they're trying to make it out like, oh, I followed you and I took part in. I wouldn't take that as a negative where people are like, ha, like, no,
Yeah.
you know,
No, no, you're right. You're right. No, they definitely don't mean harm, and or maybe I shouldn't be so cocky to assume that they've seen everything that I've done. But I
yeah,
am specifically talking about the people that I know have seen. I
yeah.
know they've seen it. Like
I
I'll
just
see
think as
their
a
life.
whole, it's just unnecessary. It's like, look, if why ask me? Like you've seen what happened, so you know. Which on that note, shall we talk about kind of like what went on?
Yes.
As in,
So
not what went on, but what went on after what went on.
yeah, yeah. So obviously, very not actually many people know. Not many people know. So I'm
Yeah,
going to say it now. And instead of sparing people's feelings, I'm just going to tell it like it is. I'm not going to slag people off. I'm not going to. I'm just going to say the straight honest truth.
yeah,
So I've left Martin, who was my coach of like 5 or 6 shows. I was with him from.
2 years, right?
I joined him in June 2021. We did
Yeah,
one, like 5 or 6 shows on that. Anyway, Martin's always been great, and I still right now, think Martin's a great person. And I was singing his praises before this show because I do think that he has potential to be. He has got me in the best shape, and he definitely leveled me up as a bodybuilder. However, I believe that he got complacent. I believe that he was almost like so. Imagine you've got 5 bodybuilders, and they're all fairly heavily muscled. It's almost like he was doing the same peak for all of us. Me and
mhm,
Jim Georgia, who I comedian, had exactly the same peak. It was almost like we had the same peak as like Lewis Breed. Lewis Breed can handle so much more food than me and gym, and he was like loading up. He's just loading up all the bodybuilders the same. That's how it felt. If he watches this, and if he's watched this again, I'm sending it, he might disagree, and that's fair enough. Like as I say, it's not me slagging him off because I still think he's a good person. I don't wish bad on him at all, but I just think he got complacent with me. I knew what was happening. I absolutely knew I was going to fucking get it wrong, and he just wasn't listening. So that happened. Everyone makes mistakes, so I'm absolutely fine with him making the mistake. If he had just come up to me afterwards, arm around me, he's my friend as well, arm around me and been like, "I didn't nail it, and I'm sorry about that. However, let's get the next one."
Yeah.
Not how it went, bro. That's not how it went. I said to him, in fact, I was stood with you
Yeah,
after
I
the show.
remember.
Yeah, I was stood. I was literally stood with you in the whatever.
The little entry, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Martin came and he wasn't really addressing me. He wasn't talking to me. And I thought to myself, given what's just happened, I would have thought he would come up to me and, you know, I said to him, I said, "Hey, Martin, do you mind if we have a bit of a debrief in a bit?"
Yeah, yeah, I heard that.
Did you actually hear me say that?
Yeah. You're like, should we have a little show debrief? Yeah.
There you go. And and instead of, yeah, let's go to the restaurant or let's go, there's a restaurant right there. He went, yeah, what do you want to say? Straight away. And I thought, right, you obviously don't care that much. So I was like, well, how do you think that went? And he said, I think we nailed it. I think
Yeah.
we nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did that and he just couldn't own it. And I said, do you honestly believe it? You nailed that? He went, yeah, yeah. So already I'm thinking, I'm sort of doubting his ability. And then also I'm thinking he doesn't even have the decency to own it and maybe offer an apology. Because bearing in mind, no decision was made by me. I followed him to the letter, to the gram. So
Yeah.
the way that I looked on stage is a direct reflection of Martin's mind. Okay. So then that happened. But already I'm like, I go home and I'm sort of triggered. I'm thinking, he can't even apologize. He can't do that. So now the next night, that was Saturday, then Sunday night, he was on a podcast. He was on Callum's podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, Callum.
Yeah,
Same
I
thing.
watched that. I watched that the day before me and you spoke. And then the day after we spoke and you told me, I was just like, I knew that was what it was about.
So for people watching, so Callum Pro Coach, Tom Hames, and Zach Pro Coach was on it, and they were like, "So bodybuilding, right? Let's have a little rundown of the show just gone. Who did we have?" Martin said, "We had Gomez, Reese, and Connor." So basically, he said the three winners of three different categories. Completely left out me and Jim. So I'm watching this thinking that's fucking disrespectful. Like, not only did he fuck the pick up, he wasn't able to apologize and own it. Then he completely fucking disregarded me. Right, okay. So at this point, I'm fucking a bit angry. Carried on watching, and they bring up a bit like Bro Chat. They bring up the fucking screen and they show the bodybuilders. They're like, "Oh, Reese won. Reese was amazing. Like, great, cool. Jamie, oh my god, Jamie second. He was amazing. Oh my god, Josh, did you see the size of Josh?" Right. So they're working their way through, and then they stop. They stop on me and they stop on Jim. They don't say a fucking word.
Yeah.
So
They
he
were like,
ignored me. He disregarded me. He completely didn't. It's almost like he was embarrassed of me.
and they were like, right, should we move on to classic then?
Yes, right. So again, I'll repeat myself, but it's like he did all these fucking things, and I think, oh my god, I'm so angry. So I text him. I'm going to give him a call. I gave him a call, and I was pretty angry, which I probably should have. I should, if anything, I'm like this, and it's not
I
a
was going
good.
to say that because I'll let you finish, but I want to challenge you a little bit on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please do, please do. I'll finish the story and then do that.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
so I lost my rag a little bit to him, which I then apologized after because that was not very nice. That's not the way I want to conduct myself. I feel very passionate about it. 7 month off season into a 3 month prep for it to all be fucked in 48 hours, then with no apology, no ownership of the mistake. So I was just very, so I left Martin based on that. And since then, we're amicable, but there's definitely some tension there. But bearing in mind what I've said right now, I'm not slagging the guy off. I'm not. And if anything, I should have been angry like I was. I was just disappointed. That's it.
So with all that in mind, you being quite an impulsive and quite you act out of emotion. You're one of those people that very quick to act, and you act very much out of emotion. Like rather than if it's someone else, they'll kind of sit there, take it in maybe for a couple of days, and then be like, okay, now I'm gonna kind of say my bit after having thought about, which I think sometimes is better to be a little bit like that. I'm very much like that. If I've got a fucking issue, I will say it and there and then, because it comes out as it's meant to come out. So if I've got an issue, I will tell you there and then, which is why me and you have had previous back and forths, because we're both very much the same way. However, the fact that he is your coach and not just someone that is kind of like a big part of your life, big part of your life, would you say that you should have maybe fought it for a little bit more with the fact that he knows your body quite well, you've got history and almost like there's ways around it. Do you not think it's a bit of an impulsive action or something that potentially not a mistake because you make your own decisions, but potentially something that maybe was a little bit rushed?
Very good point. And I take on board everything you said. I don't disagree with anything you've said. It's not necessarily a trait of mine that I like. And probably in hindsight, hello? Oh, that's right. In hindsight, um, yes, I would probably be a bit more reserved and then given it maybe like a 24-hour period to really think things through. That being said, Judd, we are now like a week later, I don't
Yeah.
know, however long it was when that happened, 10 days later. And if anything, I'm probably more annoyed now than I was then because I've had time to think about it. And do you know what? I was thinking about actually when I was making my dinner today. Martin's really meticulous with his check-ins, right? Every check-in for fucking 10 months, 7 months off season, 10 months prep, which we're checking, my heart rate, my blood glucose, my fucking doing all of this shit. Like,
Sure.
and then at the end, he just went, nah. And it was a complete disregard of 10 months of effort. And honestly, I can't, it's actually laughable how much effort went into something that was just so stupid at the end. And
So
and
in
and I
my
think it's completely incompetent for someone who is of such a high level. Martin is deemed as one of the best in the country, right?
Yeah. So in my mind, then, do you think he potentially had that in mind that he wanted to prioritize one athlete over another? Again, I'm not saying that, but is that a possibility? Because coaches can do that. They can favor one athlete over another. Mind you, he's got 5 guys in that show. Again, another thing is as well, if you're taking on 5 very high level competitors, can you manage that?
So he had four in that show, so not five but four, but still not. I think we all have biases, don't we? Right? And if you were to look at us all on paper, Jordan Gomez is the best bodybuilder, potential wise, right? Because the guy is 5'4", 5'5",
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah,
Mate, he's
Jordan is
insane.
Jordan is unbelievable. Like Jordan at his best is very very hard to beat for anyone. Okay,
Yeah.
Jim is a fucking mutant, but potentially his best years are gone. And if he
I
watches this, if
I'll
he
tell
watches
you
this,
what.
if he watches this, I'm sorry, Jim. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you're gonna fucking storm me next year. Me, I'm very lanky. Like that's the reality, right? So maybe he's got a preference for Jordan.
Right.
Maybe.
Again, we're not saying that.
Oh no,
It's just a speculation.
definitely. And
Um,
I feel bad for saying what I said about Jim because I think Jim's a fucking legend.
Mate,
In
Jim
as a
goes
friend and
back
as a
to
body.
the UK BFF days. That's not an insult whatsoever to him, I wouldn't say. The fact that he's still going and still in the mix.
Oh man, and he's freaky. Like that level of muscle mass is like
He's insane. He's
crazy.
mental. But again, I don't think what you're saying is wrong. You know. Now, the next thing is, as a high level bodybuilder, being yourself, your coach as a coach and athlete relationship, it's never one-sided. It's almost like it should always be right, I think this is what we should do. But equally, you're a very experienced competitor who's coached himself multiple times. You've coached athletes. Do you not then, Martin says this to you and you're like, look, I don't think that's smart. So, for example, sometimes Louis will say, I think we should do such and such. And I'll go, no, I don't think so.
And he
I think
replies,
I think this. And you'll go, why? And I'll say, and then we'll go back and forth and come in the middle. Dan Bastick, him and Tom have, he always speaks about the back and forths them two have, meaning that he will put his opinion, he'll voice his opinion, and they'll kind of come up with something in the middle. And you always kind of go, no, whatever the coach says. I think to an extent, yes, but equally, you know your body better than anyone. Yes, you can make the argument of potentially at the end of prep, your head goes, but you knew. And I tell you what, we all knew on the group chat, we all knew. And we were kind of like, when you sent us that message that morning, like before the show, and I think both of us, all of us were thinking, oh, fuck, yes, he is right. He is not going to be on the money. But we were kind of like, I mean, what do you say to someone
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
you
of
don't go,
course.
bro, yeah, you
Yeah,
fucked
yeah.
it. We were both like, no, man, you'll be all right. You'll be fine. Like,
Yeah,
but equally, we were
you
like,
did what a good friend would do, all of you. You were all just trying to support me, and that's nice. But
we were like, just chill. Just chill. It will be what it will be.
so yeah, man. But in a nutshell, I don't do what you do. I completely surrender. I say,
Yeah.
Martin, you have the
But
reins, so just tell me.
but I think that's not always a good thing because
Oh, yeah, no,
he,
you're right. This one time, twice as I was carving up, I said to him, "Are you sure?" And he came and looked at me, and I said, "Martin, my stomach is completely washed out." He was
yeah,
like, "Trust me, bro. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me."
this was it. That morning when you sent that message, you saw him in person, right? And what did you tell us?
Yep. So this how it went. This like literally this. So I'm over there, and this is Martin, and he went. Started goes, "Go on, front and backs, do the quarter turns." And he's doing this, and I watched his face go. He turned his phone off, and he went, "Yeah, uh, the lighting's just not. It's not doing you any favors, mate."
Yeah.
So I saw his face do like his face dropped. You know.
I think Brad is outside. Can you go let him in? Sorry, the dog's locked himself out.
Absolutely. Sorry. Oh yeah.
I
So I
can
saw
hear
his
him.
face drop, and I saw him turn his phone off and say, "Yeah, no." You know what, mate? It killed me. That's when I
Yes.
did the video. It
That is
killed
like
me.
a confidence fucking like suicide, isn't it?
Yeah. So I've seen him before a show, and he saw me like before the Exeter show, and he was like, "Oh yes," on the fucking. And you know who else was there? You know Dean White, fucking IFBB Pro Dean White.
Yeah.
He was in the toilet when Martin was doing it, and Dean came out of the toilet and went, "Well, we know who's going to win the overall, don't we?" So Dean White saying, "I'm going to win the overall," Martin going, "Fucking yes." So my confidence was up here. Whereas this time, Martin literally turned his phone off, and I was like, so yeah, it was kind of like torture, mate, because I saw it happening. Meal
Yeah.
by
Almost
meal,
like you watch
meal
your
by meal, I was
physique
getting
like,
worse and worse and worse. You know, I've had this a few times, so I say it as well here. People say, "What do you think went wrong?" Like specifically, like they say. So obviously, I said I spilled. Why did I spill? So basically, a carb load is very much dependent on how depleted you are, how lean you are. So if you're very, very lean, but not fully depleted, and what I mean by that is, let's say you've just had a carb. So you're super lean, you've been dieting for a long time, and then you have a refeed, and then like one day later you go again. Your body is not in a depleted state. Your body's ability to take on that food is not going to be quite as good as if you were fully depleted. So in a nutshell, there was too many carbs in my system at the start point of the peak. That's why.
you know what? I don't think you weren't depleted. I think you were depleted. But the amount of carbs that went in just didn't need as many carbs.
Well, there is that as well. But I know At the universe, I did 4 days of 1,000 grams.
Yeah.
This one, I granted, it was slightly heavier. It was 1,200, 1,100, 1,200, like it was slightly higher, but my start position at the universe was lower.
Yeah. And you were doing a lot more refeeds going into the show,
Mhm.
which at the universe you weren't.
Yeah, man. So I don't know if I showed this on the last one or not. I was very, very depleted 6 days out. And it's almost like I should have just stopped at that point. But this day gave me another refeed. I think I might have shown it before.
Yeah, that was it. That was very good. I think when you posted that picture, a lot of people were like, "Fuck me, Ryan looks good."
You know, so I look a bit drawn in, but that's kind of like where you want to be. He gave me 1,200 grams of carbs on that day. Then it was 2 low days, and then we went again. The
Mm.
point I'm making is if that day wasn't a high day, it would have been fine.
Do
That's
you
what I
think
believe.
sometimes what looks flat in check-in pictures would actually look really good on stage?
100%.
So
100%.
if you're flat in your check-in shots, that actually would look fine on stage.
Well, let me put it to you, right? So recently, you've been flat, right? As in low carb, like fuck all food, right? You go to the gym, a little bit of hydration, maybe maybe one meal deep, and after you've got a pump, it's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
You don't look flat anymore.
No.
That's the look, and I really feel like people overlook this. Like, it doesn't take much to get a good pump. Like for most people, you can be depleted, have maybe
Well,
one or
like,
two meals, and be well
you
hydrated.
know what's mad? You know what's mental? Like, so the fact that I've been on zero carb and like for like fucking however long, like this morning, my legs, look at my fucking legs.
They look fucking puffed out. Yeah,
I
shit.
trained legs, right? So that the fact is I trained legs, but like the fact is, right?
Yeah, you can see they're fucking yeah.
Uh like that's on zero carb.
Well, do you know what? Do you know what? Like, if you've got the muscle mass, you've got the muscle mass. Do you know what I mean?
And yeah, like that shit, like you train, you need to keep your volume a little lower, and that pump doesn't like so as soon as I walked out the gym, that pump was gone.
Oh,
Even before I stopped posing. So I trained, shot into the changing room, took the pictures. As soon as I walked, like put my clothes back on, pump was gone.
that happens, right? So, like in the latter stages of prep, I'll be like, "Hey, Aim, like, can I grab some photos when I'm done? Finish my workout, and I'll know I've got like countdown is on. Right?
Yeah, you've got
I'll
like
go
two
over to her,
minutes.
I'll be like, "Hey, Aim, I'm ready now," and she'll go, "Oh yeah, I've just got two more sets," and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I have to go and do something else."
Yeah.
Yeah, because as you say, you've got a window of opportunities like this big, then you're fucking small again.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know. So, well, mate. So I'm in limbo now, and the next thing I want to talk about as well with you, and you won't have the answer. I haven't got the answer. I've kind of lost my head a little bit. You know, at the moment, like specifically you, you're locked in.
Yeah.
Like with prep, you're just like fucking laser.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you've got a date that's like so close, you're like, right, days, it's days.
And it's lack of sleep, no worries. Hunger, no worries. Energy left,
Yeah.
energy's fat, no worries. Whereas
Yeah.
me right now, I feel like my rhythm got completely knocked. And there might be people watching this because there's been people in real life who have said, "Don't be a pussy," right? But my rhythm got knocked. I don't know what the fuck that even means, but all I'm saying is I'm struggling to get back on. Like that knock that I took, that hit that I took, has taken its toll a little
I
bit.
think you take your show losses a lot worse than some people.
I think
Every time you've come out of a show without the result that you want, you're like crash, and you crash for months, which
it's
is why like I think you need to like unteach yourself that and learn the fact that you're not always going to win.
no, true, true. And if I'm honest, I didn't expect to win this show. I expected to bring my best, eating me up. But then again, people watching could be like, "Oh, dust yourself off and go again and make sure you bring the best." But for whatever fucking reason, oh, my fucking screen's gone. Anyway, for whatever reason, my rhythm has just been knocked to me, and I'm struggling to see. I don't know. I'm just struggling to get back fully on plan. I'm allowing myself a treat here and there, and I'm just like, ah, fuck it, whatever.
But I think maybe you probably need that because you know when you're done, you're done. And how many times have we had that before with myself when I've been on the opposite side of the spectrum and you've had to tell me, look, just stop prep, just stop now. Because and I'll be like, no, I'll carry on. You're like, no, because your head's not in it, and it doesn't matter.
Like if you ask a girl if she's ever had an orgasm before, and she's like, oh, I don't know. If you don't know, the answer's no, right?
Yeah,
If in prep, if you're not sure if you want to do it or not, you don't want to do it. You either want to,
yeah,
or you like. There shouldn't be this fucking middle ground. It's like yes, 100%, or if you're like, no,
yeah,
because there's two things that are going to happen. You're either going to not look your best because you're not fully invested, or you're going to fucking cheat, or you're not going to enjoy yourself.
yeah.
Three things.
I mean, look, I think the reality is you can still not look your best. Like case in point, regardless of not cheating.
Oh yeah,
Like me myself, right? I'll be honest. I don't look, and we obviously had that chat the other day. I don't look the way I want to look. However, I think the fact that I'm going into a first timer show, I need to set that standard. So
right.
therefore, I'm like, right, ready or not, I'm there. I'm gonna, that's my kind of baseline. At that point, I approve upon reasons for like why I'm not going to look the way I want to look. You know, is neither here nor there. It doesn't matter. But the point is, I'm locked in, and I'm like, I'm doing everything I've got to do in those couple of weeks that to bring the best at what I can bring. I am locked in. If you're not, then
Yeah,
you might as well
yeah,
just wait until you're mentally there.
yeah. Well, I think what I want to say is like if you're like 80% involved, like you're 80% into it, but 20% not, there's no way that you're going to bring your best. I just don't believe it, like I say, in terms of the aesthetic. But then also, as I say, what I just mentioned there, the likelihood of you cheating is, is higher, and the
Yeah,
likelihood of you not enjoying the process is higher as well.
it's
For
enjoyment,
me,
isn't it? That's the biggest thing.
yeah, but it's the day to day. It's not just the show; it's every day leading up to it. You're fucking going to be like, ugh, ugh.
Yeah,
But when you're 100% in it, like you embrace it. Like as I say, hunger, no worries. Energy, the fucking whatever. And what I found over the years, if you're not 100%, just leave it. So right now, I'm not 100%. So I'm just eased off the gas as such. So it's a weird one though, man, because like people keep coming up to me in real life, but it's not their journey. But they're
I
like,
think people that do that haven't been in that position because
yeah,
either they haven't competed, and it's easier said than done. It's easy to say, yeah, just do it, man,
yeah,
just do it.
just
It's
go,
like
just go, just go.
yeah, right, just do it. Or they're that type of person that's almost like kind of they don't mean it because again, like they couldn't do it themselves.
Mm.
So it's kind of like, yeah, it's not about that,
Yeah, I
it's
guess I'm not reading too much into it because ultimately, as you say, like people don't do shit. Like, they just it's just words, just
no,
saying.
they don't. No, they don't. And again, like
Um,
I think like when it with the first when you first came out of prep and you kind of would like ask us what do we think we should do, and my first like initial kind of thought was, well, look, you're ready, you might as well, right? But then on the other hand, it's like prep is about enjoying it, and if you're not, then that kind of kills the fun of it.
Absolutely. I feel like if you that's what I love about prep. I mean, the show day is great. I love prep. I love the challenge of prep, and I love what it look. It teaches you something about yourself. So yeah, right now I don't feel that way. I don't know why. But instead of fighting it, I've just accepted it. So what that means in English, I'm still eating my normal food, but like for example, today I was in Costa and I grabbed a cheesecake.
Yeah,
You know, so it's like normal food plus a couple of treats.
Yeah, but think about compared to like the last few years when you used to take the absolute piss.
Yeah,
That's fuck all now compared to like
yeah,
what you used
well,
to do.
yeah. The only no, do you know what? Like I've been better in recent years. I took the piss like 2 years ago purely because I wanted to be 300 pounds. I just hammered it in.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I keep a lid on it pretty well now. What do I weigh? I weigh like 122 kilo, so it's like 2 kilo up from stage,
Yeah.
but softer, but noticeably softer. You know what I mean, so yeah, man. But that's me anyway. That's me. What about you?
What about me? I'm kind of like
Your
in
current
the last sort of stage of it, getting on with it. Like activity is high. My weight's gone up, but that's obviously to be expected because like I went from no cardio to an hour and a half of cardio, and from like my steps went up to 20,000. Um,
hour and a half of cardio and 20,000. Woo! Fuck. How do you feel? Fucked.
that do you know what? That's the biggest part of the biggest like pain in the ass. The fucking steps is the biggest fucking pain in the ass because all day long I'm walking like a fucking like maniac outside my fucking like house, just pacing about, walking around the shops. That's like the biggest like fucking bow leg because the training's like it's kind of like at the minute I'm kind of like lower volume, so I kind of just go in there. I'm still fucking strong. Like I still went into like 6 plates on the hack this morning. Um, so from that point of view, I'm still strong, but like one set.
I was about to say,
Um,
are you strong but not for very long? Basically,
yeah, one
yeah.
set. So like literally, so legs today was I did like I start with like abs and calves just to like stretch out my calves for like mobility, abs and calves. I'm hammering my fucking abs now, but again, like it just takes time, like any muscle. But because like, bro, I got fucking lines in my glutes and no fucking abs. Like I need to stretch them to get abs. It's like fucking ridiculous. But like, yeah, I did like a couple of sets of like abs and calves, nothing to like failure, just kind of like blood. And then like hamstring curl one set, quad extension one set, hack one set, and I did like split squats one set, and that was the workout. So, you know,
How much less volume now compared to normal would you say there?
I mean, normally I do 3 sets maybe each.
3 sets of each, and now you're just doing one, so it's like a third.
1 to 2. I think I did like 2 sets of hamstring
Okay.
curl. You know, on like the main compound stuff like the hacks and like stuff like that. It would be like a one set. I gauge it. I gauge it. Obviously, building up to 6 plates on the hack is still,
Yeah. Fucking
you
right.
know, I'm still doing like 8 to 10 reps, building my way up.
I think this is quite a good subject to be honest with you. I think because you're treading a tightrope. Okay, this is for all like would-be competitors watching this as well, because you don't want to completely take your foot off the gas for obvious reasons. Because you know, if you give your body a chance to fucking get rid of
Fuck
some of
off
the
your
muscle,
muscle.
because ultimately, right now you're in a state where your body's fucked.
Yeah.
And what is muscle? Muscle is demanding for your body, right? Your body doesn't really want to have
Yeah,
it,
it wants to
especially
get
the
rid of it
amount that we've
first.
got, right?
Yeah.
So unless you give it fucking reason to keep hold of that muscle, it's gonna get rid of it,
Yeah.
right? So you want to do enough volume to stimulate the muscle, but obviously not too much to fuck you over.
I mean, like I said, when I and again, like I'll do a couple, like a few sets of like body weight lunge, like walking lunges and shit like that. So it's not like I'm doing like just that. So, but I don't count that stuff towards the workout, you know. But I mean, like I said, like I showed you that picture, my legs were like blown. So
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, so as well for people watching, the other day, we did a Zoom for some posing help, and I saw your physique. Yeah, so on your quarter turns, when you're about to pull it, you squeeze your glute, and I can see glute striations. And then
yeah,
your abs, as you say, if you crunch your abs, you can't see them, but when you stretch,
got
you can.
no fucking abs. It's like it's a
Um,
bit like James Holland said, you know, like a bit like James Holland said. He's got no abs.
yeah, they're like shallow, aren't they? Very shallow abs. Yeah.
I need to
Hey,
train them. I'm gonna like off season. I'm gonna dedicate like at least 4 times a week. I'll train them, and I have been.
hey,
I just
listen.
think I need to train them.
This is such a thing for me, right? Because like one of the banes of my competitive existence is striated glutes. It's
Right.
like it's considered the holy grail in bodybuilding. It's like when you've got that, it's fucking it. I'm hell bent on this. I'm hell bent on this, and I like your opinion as well. It's largely genetically determined. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying people with striated glutes are not lean because they 99.9% of the time, yeah, right. You don't just get striated glutes just by chance. But some people, and in particular, maybe you watch this, maybe right. Do you know Troy the glute man?
Yes.
He is currently mid off season. He's like 40, 50 pounds up from his stage weight, and he's still got lines in his glutes.
Yeah.
Explain that to me.
It's just body fat distribution. Like again, like you've
Exactly.
got abs in your off season.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's largely genetic. Yes, you have to be lean to have straight glutes, but it absolutely depends on your genetics. Some people have them so much easier than others.
My again, my glutes haven't come in, but compared to some other areas of my physique, my glutes are lean by far leaner than other body parts. It's like, how the fuck does that make sense?
For most people, it's the last thing, right? But for you, it doesn't seem to be.
Hamstrings, adductors, you know, the split between the quad and the hamstring. I have that at, like when I'm like my fattest, and it's kind of
Yeah.
like, how? I mean,
Yeah,
did you
yeah,
see
you know,
that?
like when you're like going to do an RDL from like your adductors from there, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like look at this.
I'll try it. Hold it there a minute.
Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
like how does that? How does this work? So, did you see this picture?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
that's fucking good, mate.
but right, you look at my upper, and it's nowhere near that.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Like I say, I can see the texture of the skin.
Nah, bro, because my midsection.
Okay, like
Like,
delts and back
look
and
in
things
this
like that.
quarter turn. Look at my midsection. That's like last week. That's like last Saturday.
I
So
couldn't
that's
make
like,
out what was tattoo and what was oblique. Then
oh, you can't, but
so
like still, you should be able to see more.
yeah, you know what though? I think this is part of being a bodybuilder. Bro. Like, there's like I don't know. Do you know anyone who's just complete satisfied? Is
No,
anyone just like, yeah, I've made it, I've done it?
I just look at holes in my physique. That's all I look at. I look at like, see, oh, I replied to you about your client about the abs. And I was like, bro, I'd kill for those fucking
Oh
abs. And
yeah,
it's
Rob,
like
Rob,
I look at myself and I'm like, if I had your abs, my physique would look 10 times more impressive.
100%, man, 100%.
But it's one of them things, you know. And I think with training and potentially like making sure, like, you know, and don't get me wrong, there's certain body parts I'm happy with, like my quads. I'm happy with my arms, but like certain other body parts, I'm like, fucking sucks.
Yeah, man. Well, as I say, yeah, I mean, but like, imagine 5 years ago, someone had said to you, "Have this physique, the physique that you are now." They'd given that to
True,
you 5 years ago. You'd have been like, "What
true,
the fuck? Wow, yes, fucking yes."
true. Yeah,
It's like, it's like it's like you're always clawing for more. You can, it's never enough, never enough. But do you know
yeah.
what? I will say this. I think that's the reason why we love bodybuilding so much because it's like you can never complete it. If it was something that you could just attain fairly easily, it would lose its
Yeah,
prestige.
you wouldn't want it. You wouldn't want it. And it's kind of like a lot of these things that you can get quite easily, it kind of loses its novelty quite quickly.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
for example, your car. Did you get your car, by the way?
No, I haven't got it yet. No.
Are you gonna?
I'm gonna. My
Right.
car broke down yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, so I need to
Oh, you
sort
gotta,
it out.
yeah, you gotta get rid of that car now. It's
Oh,
like
it's
it's
done. It's
causing you
fucking done.
too much shit.
Yeah, it's
But
done, mate.
like I mentioned, like my car, I'm getting rid of it now because
What?
I'm kind of like, huh?
What? I thought you loved
Yeah.
it.
Hmm?
Is this prep playing with your head though?
Look, you get a car. 1 month in, like the novelty wears off completely. I don't drive it. It's a complete pain in the ass to drive. I drive my missus car way more. Like I don't barely drive it. And what I'm left with in the end is like 2 grand a month of just cost.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
doesn't
want it.
sound too good.
No, no. And I've got like a couple of ideas of like investing money into a couple of different other businesses that I can put that 2 grand into that instead of the fucking car.
Absolutely, mate.
So
Well, do you know what? It's funny. I was having this conversation yesterday. Obviously, when my car broke down, I was chatting to someone in the gym, and then we were talking about like what you can afford and like finance and whatever. I can afford something
yeah,
decent, but I don't want to. I don't
no,
want. It pains me to see like 7, 8, 900 quid come out of my like. I just don't
it's
like.
not it's not that because like that's just a payment for the fucking car.
Well,
And
yeah,
then you got your insurance and then the fuel.
yeah.
Bro, on
No,
my
I'm not up
car
for it, man. I'm not up for it.
to drive 20 minutes to the gym and back 5 times a week.
Living the life that we lead, we don't need that, do we?
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, just get rid of it.
And what are you
But
gonna have instead?
I'm probably gonna get something similar to what you're getting.
Okay, yeah.
And,
And
and, and again,
for those watching, it's a Range Rover.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And again, like it's something that it's kind of I like to drive quite a bit and not have to think about it cost me fucking 150 quid a week on fuel. Like,
You know what pisses me off when you say you're going to get a Range Rover, people go, "Oh, they're dodgy, or they fuck up." Or something.
ah,
In my experience, mate, every car gives you a little bit of grief. You might as well just get the one you want and accept a bit of shit. You know what I mean? They're all going to fuck up.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, for example, like, I could go and get a Vauxhall Astra 2020, 22, 23, yeah, and it will never let me down, ever. I don't
yeah.
want it. I don't want it. Instead, I'd
I
rather
think
take my chances with the car that I do want,
I think if you're like a really big car guy where you actually understand cars, we don't. Like
I
for
don't know.
me, that as far as it gets is, oh, I like the color of this car, or I like the way it looks.
Yeah, I'm the
That's
same.
it.
Yeah,
So I don't get like the internals of the car or anything to appreciate it, you know?
yeah. There might be some people like who are really into cars watching. They'll be like thinking that we're really naive in what we're saying, but
Yeah,
I'm the same as you, man. It's like color. You know, does it look nice? It's a nice color, and that's about it, really.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
When they talk about like the fucking like horsepower, I'm like,
And I tell you what, I tried to kind of like enjoy cars, but I don't. I'm not a car guy. I just couldn't give a fuck.
so fucking weird that you're not a car guy when you had that car.
Yeah, because my mate had got the car, and when we went and picked it up, I was like, "Wow, I love this car. I want one of them." So I went and got it, and I was kind of like, "Yeah,
But
whatever."
he's into it, isn't he?
But is he though? Because bro, he ain't got a clue.
Oh,
His battery died. He drained the because he left the car on for too long. So it drained the battery. He didn't even know where the fucking battery was. He's like, "Well, can you come and jumpstart me?" I was like, "Yeah, all right." I went in. I was like, "How are you gonna do this?" Then he goes, "Oh, I don't know. We're like in this Tesco car park, bro." And he goes, "Oh, maybe ask this guy. He'll know. He might know."
oh no,
Yeah,
fuck.
he's the fuckest biggest phony ever. He ain't got a fucking clue about
Oh
cars.
shit. He's always posting stuff about it and that, I thought he
Yeah, but
yeah.
that's just about the external shit, like the external. He ain't got a fucking clue. If he can't change a tire, if he blew a tire, he won't know how to change it. So don't believe that shit. He's a fucking phony.
I fucking hate, I'm not mocking him, right? Because I'm a fucking modern man as well. When I say a modern man, this is what I mean. Like, my dad is a proper man.
Mm,
I'm a modern man, right? My dad comes up and he brings his toolbox with him.
yeah,
And he's like, "What do you want me to do?" And I'm like, No, I'm all right, Dad. I'm all right. And he's like, "No, come on, what do you want me to do?" So he'd be outside, he'd be fucking knocking some shit up, fucking
yeah.
such a shit. So I can't do it.
Bro, I can't even mount a fucking TV on the fucking wall.
I fucking did, but I got it all wrong. It was like this.
Oh, do you know what? Do you know what I believe in? I'll tell you what I believe in. Pick one thing to be good at, and that's your thing, right? You don't want to be jack of all trades. I don't like that. Where my dad's exactly the same way. He'd be like, anything in the house goes wrong, I'll fix it. No, I'm gonna pay someone to come and fucking fix it. And
Yes.
and I'm like, and you work a shitty job, and you ain't got fucking like. I am good at one thing,
Yeah.
and I'll pay someone to come and sort the rest of that shit out. If my car fucking breaks down, I'm gonna pay someone to fucking
Right,
fix
this
it.
is such a fucking modern thing, though, right? Because my mom and dad lose their mind. They fucking lose their mind when I say that we've got a cleaner. So I'm like,
I,
yeah. So every 2 weeks we have a cleaner, and then my mum's like, what? I'm like, yeah. I don't
yeah,
want to fucking. I don't want to scrub my shower. I don't want to fucking dust the fucking.
and
Like,
and
oh,
this is it, isn't it? You know, when you say to people, "I've got to clean it," like, "Oh, you're so lazy." I'm like, bro, no, it's not like I'm still not going around and fucking,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
clean. Yeah, I'm still like cleaning the fucking like the
yeah,
kitchen
yeah,
and all of that stuff. I'm still cleaning, but like the extra shit that I don't want to fucking do, like you say, scrub the fucking shower, the cobwebs on the fucking ceiling.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to do that shit. Fuck that. Pay
No, yeah,
someone to fucking do it.
yeah, yeah. You're right. So like the day-to-day stuff. So I happily grab. Well, we got a speed mop. So I chuck the speed mop on, and I fucking give it and I fucking wipe the surfaces. Sure,
Especially when you got dogs, it's like you kind of have to do that daily.
you have to. Yeah, yeah. But I don't want to get like scrubbing my toilet. I don't want to get down there and fucking, and I don't want to. Like, you can call
Yeah,
me a snob. As I say, this is like a modern man thing.
yeah.
My
I love.
dad is, but my dad, he'll happily give up his whole Sunday to do a job. Whereas I would just go, let's call someone and they'd do it in an hour.
Yeah.
But my dad would be like, no, let's save money, and
Oh fuck that.
it would take him from like 9 in the morning till 5 at night, and it will get done. He'll be
Yeah, but
stressed
I
to
think
fuck.
people back then used to think differently. We think differently now, where I'm like, okay, well, I've got 10 check-ins to do, which that will take me X amount of time, but that makes me X amount of money, or making content or whatever. Like our lives are completely different nowadays. So we can't expect them to understand or for us to understand them. So,
That's
you
a
know,
good point. Like every that was really hard for my parents to understand. Uh, in their day, it was like you go to a building site or you go to
yes,
an office or building site. That's it.
that's it.
But now what they don't realize is that like the videos, the micro content, the podcast, the videos at the gym, the
Yeah.
interactions day to day. These are what gets you business. So this is what gets you business, and it's really hard for I think the older generation to understand that.
Yeah. They'll be like, oh, so you don't have a proper job then? I'm like, mate, just because I'm not fucking stacking shelves or scrubbing toilets doesn't mean I don't have a fucking proper job.
Oh, but my mum, she always goes on about this job I had when I was like 17. Fucking, she goes, oh, do you remember when you had that job at Scandia? She's like, oh, that was such a good job. I'm like,
You're like, no, it wasn't. I used to get
oh,
paid like
yeah.
4.55 or some
Well,
shit.
granted, it was like a long time ago, but it was like £3.50 an hour. But
Yeah.
my mum
Yeah.
still talks about it now. She's like, that was such a good job. Oh,
You're like, I
no.
fucking hated that job and everyone there.
Yeah. Why
Yeah,
is it
but
considered a good job if you like hate it? Like
uh,
you go to a building site, cold, you're fucking miserable and you hate it. Everyone's like, oh,
you
fair
ever walk
play.
into a shop or something and you see like a manager walk up to like a staff member and speak to them like shit, and you're like, I could never work for someone again or work in a place that I've knocked that fucker out.
Like, imagine like you're being paid fucking minimum wage and someone speaking to you like that.
No
You know
way.
what? This is why. Full disclosure. I've had quite a lot of jobs in my life. Up till I was about 25, at your age, I had a lot of jobs. I was sacked about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, same.
You
Same.
were
Exactly the same. Most of my jobs, that's why jobs that I actually got on with was jobs that I worked on my own. So, for example, like the security job, you kind of work by yourself mostly. So you don't have to answer to anyone. And that was quite good because it was like you're like your external agency. So you're not having to answer to anyone. I'm like, the manager will come in. You're like, you can't tell me because you're not my fucking boss.
right. So do you feel like the reason why you struggled with jobs was because you struggled with authority?
Yeah, I can't even you can't fucking tell me what to do. Fuck off.
Bro, I'm so bad at it. I'm so bad. Even like even like just day to day, if someone says something, I fucking will fight back all the time. And it's like, oh, calm down. I piss myself off sometimes. Like I
Especially
can't.
because like like management in these like corporate like jobs, they're like very much to the book. And they'll be like, no, but the protocol says you got to do it like that. And I'm like, but this doesn't make sense. This is fucking dumb. So I'll just be like, they'll be like, you need to do it in this way. I'm like, no, I know better.
Yeah, right. But it
You
doesn't
know?
matter. You have to toe the line. You have to do it their way, or you fuck off.
Yes, normally I just fuck off.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah, but I never enjoyed any of my jobs. It was always
No,
just like, they were always stop gaps. If you know what I mean, it was never like a career move.
yeah.
Like
Almost
this
like you
job,
got to work on your own terms. But I don't think
um,
that's a bad thing because it just kind of tells you, look, you're not made for this. Some people are made to follow, other people are made to work for themselves. So if you need both type of people, you
oh,
need those
mate,
type
mate.
of people.
If everyone was the kind of person that couldn't take authority, we're in trouble.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
actually really grateful if you're someone who can do it. Like fair play.
Fair play. Yeah.
We're just not
No.
no, we're just not yeah.
So yeah, where like when you walk into like somewhere and you see like an employee, and then the manager's like, or you've worked somewhere, and they're like, you need to do this, and you need to do this, and they're like, yeah, 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 no worries, fair enough, yeah, yeah, of course, I'll do it, and I'm like, no, fuck off, don't you fucking, what? Like the minute they're like, right, so you need to do this, you need to do this, I'm just like, fuck off.
Oh my god. I remember like yeah, like they'd be like, oh, can you go and pick up that? Can you go and pick up this? Or can you go and chuck that in the bin? And you're like,
You're
I
like,
remember, I remember, like I had a bit of an ego, and it was hard. Well, have an ego. I think everyone's got an ego to a degree. But it was always really hard for me to accept that some little fucking ratty bloke like telling me what to do. But the only reason he was like above me in this position was because he was like able to take authority.
yeah,
Now all
yeah,
of a sudden he's like overtaken me. And now all of a sudden I'm like, it was really hard for my ego to take. It really
and a
was.
lot of these people, they like to like treat the people under them like shit because they've actually got no power, but they like to think they've got power.
So yeah, because like in real life they feel like uh you know super like inferior.
Inferior.
So like all of a sudden they're given this like title, right? You're the supervisor, and they're like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? And it's like, oh fuck,
And you're
yeah,
like, I remember like, back in lockdown, because I kind of was like, well, I need to do something so I'm not sat in the house. So I got like a security job. So I watched because I was completely separate to like what everyone else in the shops was doing, but they were hiring so many people. And those people would work in the shop for like 3 weeks. And they'll be like, right, so you need to apply for a supervisor. You could be supervisor like 7 people. And bro, they've been working in the shop for like 3 fucking weeks, and they're a supervisor. And now they're telling everyone else what to do. And I'm like, no, you're actually fucking stupid because you're now taking on all this responsibility for like a pound extra. Or they'll be getting like 75p extra per hour. And you're like, that's a fucking good deal.
right. When I think back to, I'm so grateful. The thing you said, like, be good at one thing. Be good at one thing. I'm so grateful that I really like obsessed about bodybuilding because it enabled me to live this life. I'm sure you're the same, right? Because I remember I used to work in jobs. I was maybe like 20 years old, 22, 23, and I was working alongside people who were like 45, 50, and they were on the same amount of money as me, being told what to do by a load of 25-year-olds. And I
Yeah.
remember thinking, that's going to be me.
Yeah.
That's the way my life is going.
You ever have a job at McDonald's?
Uh, uh, Pizza Hut. Pizza.
Oh, okay.
It was my first job, my first ever job.
My first job was at McDonald's. I got sacked from that because I got caught getting chicken from the chiller. So basically, right, they were like, yeah, so you can have you can have like a burger, like a meal burger in your break. I was like, no, because I just started training, so I missed the protein. Like, I'm like, no, I'm gonna have a salad and I'm gonna have chicken. They're like, okay, you allowed like one like little tray of chicken. You know how like chicken salads?
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, nah. I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna have like four little trays. So I went in a chiller, right? And I got four, and someone fucking ratted me out, and I got sacked.
Oh shit! How long were you there for?
Oh, like 3 weeks. Then I went and got a job at Subway.
Did you
I
get
love that job.
did you get sacked there?
Huh?
Did you get sacked?
No, no, I had to quit that one because of my college. So I had to do my exams and that, so I had to actually quit. I was gutted about that because actually, really, I love the fact that you could get free subways like twice. So if you do like a long shift, bro, 2 subways. Imagine when you're first training, and you know what? It was like East Street, in Southampton.
Yeah, yeah,
There
yeah.
was East
Subway in East Street. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so like I'll finish college, I'll go work there, I'll have a sub before work, I'll finish work, I'll have another sub like to go, I'll go train and
Games,
I'll
bro.
eat it like, yeah, that was fucking good. I worked there for a straight year. That was so good.
Wait, so I don't know, you know, Pizza Hut and KFC in Hedge End,
Yes.
next door to each other. Right? So my first ever job was that Pizza Hut. That Pizza Hut opened the same month as my first ever job. So, fuck me, how old were you in 2003?
5.
Oh my god, that was my first job when you were 5, right? Check this out. I was there for a couple of months and I was fucking hating it. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, first ever job. And there was this guy called Tom, and I used to fucking hate him. I used to hate him so much. And I used to wear this pizza like, yeah. So you put your fingers in and you grip
Oh yeah.
pizzas. Yeah, yeah. I was wearing one of them. Check this out. I got fucking sacked for this. Kept winding me up. He kept winding me up. And I said, Tom, if you keep going, I'm gonna fucking smash it. And I was a bit more like, and I realized I sounded like a jab when I said that. And I was a bit more jabby back then. So it kind of like fits. Anyway, he carried on going. And I ended up punching him with that on. So it was like a knuckle duster.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I fucking punched him. And I was like, shit. Like I knew I shouldn't have done it. I knew it was like fuck, fuck, fuck. Anyway, um, they suspended me for a week and then sacked. And I was like, shit, I was so embarrassed. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't tell my parents because I was like embarrassed and all that. Anyway, then I applied for a job at KFC next door.
Next door.
And they were like, have you ever had a job before? And I was like, no,
You're like, nah.
no, 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 no. I got a, and then they offered me a job in there, but then they let me go because I wouldn't go on the till because I was too embarrassed.
Oh, in case someone recognized you from the Pizza Hut.
Yeah, yeah. I was in college. I was in college, and like a few people I knew walked in. I didn't want them to
Oh,
see me with my stupid hat on, you know. And I was like, oh shit. So
bro, no, no. The till is the best job because, like, for one, yeah, on in Subway, that was the best job working on a till. Why? Because one, you don't have to fucking make sandwiches, be a sandwich artist, and two, you get to chat up all the birds. That was like the best part because you get all these like birds coming like from the town,
maybe even from college, no, like
whatever. Yeah, 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 yeah. And like, and you
yeah.
just like chat up the birds, and it's like fucking the best job.
Well, this was a problem, right? So I went to a boys' school, and then when I was in college, there was a load of girls there. But
Yeah.
then I'm in college with all these girls, and I was thinking, like, fuck, this is amazing. Like, I was around all these girls. The girls from college came in. That's why I was embarrassed because I was trying to be Jack the Lad in college, and then they come into KFC, and there's me. I don't know if you've seen. They've got like these like stupid hats and stupid
Yeah, but then you
t-shirts
can
on.
use that to your advantage. I used to give the birds like free KFC, free subways.
Mate, no, like my ego couldn't allow it. Like fucking
No,
hid.
because
I hid in
because
the
you had
back.
the wrong mentality. I used to think I'm cool for working in Subway. Subway is cool to work in Subway. That's like I'm like one of the cool kids.
Did you have like them fucking see-through gloves on? And that?
Yeah,
Did you have one of them shitty hats?
I can't remember. Probably.
I couldn't see past it personally. When I saw these girls, and
I used to hate it when they were like, "Oh, you gotta change. Can you change your gloves?" I was like, "Why?" Oh, well, because I'm vegetarian or like vegan. I was like, "Fuck off."
and that like those girls that I like was like trying to get with in college, you know, and I had my moped and I thought I was king of shit. And they walked in and I don't know, I just fucking like I said, I hid. But then the guys in KFC started cutting it on and they're like, you gotta go, bro. Like either you progress to the fields or you gotta go. So pizza, gone. KFC, gone. I didn't do any other fast food though, but yeah. That was my first 2 jobs. Great start.
Did you never work in a restaurant? I worked in a load of restaurants.
No, bro. I
I
worked on.
I had a job in like a catering agency, which I actually loved that job. Again, I tell you why. Because a catering agency, they'll send you to a different hotel so that they sort of like weddings, proms, like
Right.
just events like that, right? Like certain, and they'll send you like the fancy fucking hotels, and the food was like so good. So again, like that was perfect for me because like every time you go in, there's like some like the best food. So for me, I always used to find jobs like that so I can get
Right,
like
right,
so I didn't
right,
have
right,
to
right.
pay for food. So then in the end, right, I'll be going home with like fucking tons and tons of food.
What was the job that I went and met you from when I first met you?
Oh, that was way after. That was
It was a call center, was it not?
that was sales. I only did that for like 2 months though, because I wanted to try. I wanted to try it, see what it was like. But fucking shit, that
Having
was.
someone breathing down your neck saying, make it cool, make it cool. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I didn't enjoy that. I didn't enjoy that, especially because again, it's one of these jobs that I would hate because you then have someone that's there on your case. Well, you got to have two leads today and shit like that. So I actually went back to like the more like on the go kind of job with the like you know the food. I actually quite like the hospitality industry because again, like, it was just a way for me to get to get my food in and like I still the fun shit like the race courses and stuff like that. All the race courses that was really fun. Um,
When you explain it like that, it sounds. I get it. I understand why you prefer that, but I think, as I say, I wanted something that wasn't customer facing. I
but
wanted,
it's not though, is it? Because like I said, because it's more like you're so well. I guess it was because like bar work and stuff like that, but it's always different. It's always in a different spot.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think for me, I always just wanted to sort of like turn up, head down, like no one know what I do, and then go home
Yeah, but
because I
that's like an
was,
office job then, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
No, I'd hate that. And like sedentary jobs, because I'm fucking like hyper as fuck. I can't do a secondary like
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I couldn't do what I was claiming I wanted to do. I fucking hated it. Like sales, you know, like every day you're targeted. Like you walk in and there's like a
That was
sales like
that
leader.
was that was yeah, that was exactly the job that when we met, that's kind of what I was doing, but I couldn't do it. It was not for
No,
me.
man, I think doing that kind of job long term literally drive you insane. Drive you
It will
insane.
because it's almost like they've got certain and the turnover rate is so high. It's like if you don't perform for like a couple of days and like you're out.
Yes, 100%. You know what? Talking to Julian Fernandez. So Julian had a business mentor, and he's like scaled up his coaching business, and he's been doing it for like a long time. What his coaching business now feels like to me is more like that. You know, like you're targeted sales, sales,
Yeah,
sales,
yeah, yeah,
push,
yeah,
push,
yeah.
push, push. That's what it ends up feeling like. You know, these business mentors.
Yeah. I don't want clients like that though. I
No,
want clients that are organic, that are like that are I don't want to be like, oh, I'm looking for five guys to join me. No, 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 fuck, no, 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 no. I don't want five guys to join me. I want one person who's quality to message me and they're like, I really want to work with you because I watch the podcast and I watch how you are and I want to work with you. That's what I want.
yeah, I totally get it. I feel like I don't mind putting on an advert to say that I'm taking people on, but but as you just said, that I don't want to. I never want to talk someone into it.
Yeah.
If they're a bit like, I'm not sure, and then I'm like, well, what I can do for you is, and like really sell it to them. Like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
you
Yes.
want to come on or you don't. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're like, I'm not going to
And
force
and
you.
the thing is, right, look, these people that you're trying to so hard to convince them and that, they're not going to stick on
No,
anyway. Because
no,
end of
no,
the day, like with coaching, it's not just about me initially taking your money. It's more, well, I'll take your money, but are you going to stick? And are we going to make, or is it just going to be a waste of time for that
no.
month, 2 months that you stay? I don't want to do that.
No, do you know? And there's a few people that I've got at the moment I'm looking to actively get rid of because
Bro, this is the best thing
it's
you'll
just hard
do.
work. Yeah,
This is the best thing you'll do. I got rid of, like I said, about 15 people at the start of the year, and I'll probably look to take another 10 on after prep. But
yeah,
getting rid of those fucking parasites is the best fucking thing you'll do.
yeah. I mean, so I'm at the point now where I'm about to. So I've actually got my 7 year anniversary coming up, and I'm about to try and take people on off the back of that.
Yeah.
But but I need to get rid of some people first. I like they're just drained on my fucking resources, you know. But yeah, where you're on prep, I'm not on prep, so I've got a little bit of energy now, so it's
Yeah.
not as bad. But when I was on prep, it was like, oh,
Yeah. You almost kind of just think, oh, I can't really be bothered. Like,
definitely,
or it's almost like it becomes very difficult for me to relate to people when they complain. So when they're like, I'm like, what was your adherence? And I'm like, it was 7 out of 10. I'm like, why the fuck was it 7 out of 10 thing?
yeah,
I'm like, And they're like, oh, well, I found it really hard to do my steps. I'm like, bro, you got 7,000 steps a day to fucking do. You can't shut the fuck up. I'm doing 20. Don't even fucking complain. Well, like, oh, I was really hungry this week. I was like, mate, I'm on zero fucking carbs. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, like when they're like 20% body fat, and they're like, I'm struggling with hunger, and you're like,
Yeah. You're like, you fat cunt. Shut the fuck up. Fucking diet. Oh, yeah. So when I'm in prep, I kind of find it really difficult to relate to those people.
yeah, it makes you a bit brutal, doesn't it? But like, it's true. Like, unless you've been like super low body fat on fuck all food, loads of output, don't talk to
Yeah.
me about the hunger. Don't talk to me about it. Like, come on.
Yeah. I had this guy like 1 week that into dieting, and he sends me pictures. And I didn't like and he goes like, oh, what do you think? I'm like, well, I'm like, you're still fat. And I literally said that. Well, I said, well, you're still fat. We kind of need to wait a little bit longer for you to actually see something. I'm like, what do you think? Bro, you've been dieting 4 days. So fucking carry on.
But hold on a minute. But have these people not got eyes? Like, does he not look at himself and see body fat? What does he see? Is he looking, seeing like Chris Bumstead? Does he look at his own photo and go, "Oh fucking hell"? What is he like? How are you so delusional? Like, I've got a guy who's like, I said to him, I said, you need to be lean before we go up. We are not bulking, like bulking. I hate that word,
Yeah.
but we're not going up until you're lean enough. And he said, what does that mean? I said, like visible abs, striations, a few like some vascularity, then we can go up. And he's just like, he goes, I think we might be there, bro. I think we might be there. And he sends me photos, and it's like, you're just really soft, bro. Like you're really soft. How
Mhm.
can you look at that photo and think you're lean? How?
And
How?
just say to him, like, look, the thing is, if you look like that now, think within about 6 to 8 weeks, with another, let's say we put on half a kilo per week, you're 4 to 5 kilos up.
Yes,
5 more kilos of body fat. How the fuck are you gonna think you're gonna look?
absolutely, mate. But I think it is it's naivety. Like they don't really know. They don't really know in their mind. They think, well, if they put on 5 kilos of scale, it's going to be like weight.
Do you know what I tend to do? It's like a trick, a secret that I like to do with people like that. I'll be like, right, we're gonna carb cycle. I'm like, on days that we're not training, we're gonna take you in low, so you're burning body fat. On days that so they're like, oh, we're doing something really smart. In reality, calories in, calories out. Calories
Yeah,
are
yeah,
average
it's still the
week,
same way.
right?
Yeah,
But in their mind, they're like, right, on back days, I'm bulking.
hey, but listen. This is as much as like you like. It's kind of funny that we're saying this, but don't disregard the importance of getting this right. Because
That's what I'm
if
saying. It
you,
works.
yeah, it works. Like sometimes I have clients, they want a new training plan,
Yeah,
and all I do is I'll shift a few exercises, and
yeah,
it's the same, and it will still work, but they're happy.
yeah,
If they're happy, they're going to do it better, you
for
know?
sure.
So
For
this
sure.
person or these people that you say that to, it probably works really, really well.
Almost kind of have to like dip into like the mentality of the client, how they work. So I actually had this other guy, mate, he's the easiest guy to work with. I said to him, like, what, and I said to him, like, would you prefer if we do like kind of like low, medium, highs and potentially have an off-plan meal on the weekend? He goes, no, I would rather do a linear diet is exactly the same every day. I'm like, easy for me,
Yeah, some
less
people like
work for
that.
me
Yeah,
to do.
yeah. Some people don't want any deviations. They want exactly the same. It's easy for food prep as well, isn't it?
Yeah, 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 yeah. He's like, I don't want to have to remember 4 different diets.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just want one diet and that's it. I'm like, works.
it works. It's as you say. There's not one way, but if you can tap into a way that works for someone else, fucking
Yeah.
great, great. Yeah, I don't know. It's just fucking. It's strange to me. Like as I say, some people's delusion. Um, they think they are leaner than they are. I had a guy, and he started with me not so long ago, and he was like, "I think I'm about 10% body fat." And I'm like, like probably not. Said, well, you probably got another couple of months before you're there, bro. And he's like, okay. What do you think I am? I'm like, probably closer to 20%. It's not me taking the piss out of him. If he watches, they're
No.
like,
And again, like when people ask me about body fat, I'm always kind of like, oh, I'm like, I get why you ask him because like a couple of years back, I was there too when I was kind of like, how much of a body fat? Like, what body fat am I? And it's kind of like you got to remember, like your arms are going to be different body fat percentage to your shoulders, to your chest, to your back. It
Yeah,
doesn't
like
work
looking at
like
your
that.
leanest part, like
Yeah,
you might be like, it looks like you're 5% body fat,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
but like relative to everything else, yeah. Like my chest and delts is like there's nothing, it's fucking nothing there. But then my ass and my hamstrings is like
Mm, mm, mm.
I don't know.
So I
But
think we
mate,
covered quite a lot.
yeah, mate, that was actually really really enjoyable. I love that.
Yeah.
Look
I
more
had
cool.
someone ask about on the question and answer, like when we're going to do a podcast. I was like, well,
Yeah, man,
probably
that's
do another one next week.
for fuck's sake. What's my screen to do that? Look,
Yeah, it always does, doesn't it?
looks like I'm fucking singing or something. Yeah, no, that was good, mate. Really really good. And we're
To
like,
be
yeah,
fair, you could probably get that up even like tonight because it's not, you don't have to edit anything there.
no, yeah, it'll go straight up, mate. Yeah, definitely. But yeah,
Mm,
this will be live tomorrow.
yeah.
All right, mate. But we'll do another one maybe in your
Yeah.
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 All right, mate.
Cool. All
Have
right.
a good
I'll
one, buddy.
speak to you in a bit.
See you, man. Bye.